Hello, happy May. Hey, Jen.
Hey,
Welcome to HR Huddle. And Jen and I just came from our first conference of spring CPA accounting conference season. And we were at the BDO Alliance Conference, and we just had a blast. And we're in our offices. So it was virtual, and they had almost 4,000 attendees on a remote platform. And we were in a trade show. Platform called Verbella, and learning how to navigate people. And we got to see each other on a beach and listen to a presenter, a general session on a beach, and listen to awards and the general session and network and high five and see friends come through. So anyway, we just thought, gosh, we should probably stop and talk about how do we continue to network? How do we continue to participate in these learning experiences when we might not be able to see them in person? I know a lot of conferences are doing virtual. I know some are doing hybrid. There might be a few towards the end of the year that will be only in person, but I think most are going to be hybrid. And so we have to get out there and figure it out. That was one of the things that we did as a team, was go out there and figure out. We had an avatar, and we had to dress our avatar, and we had to learn how we could move the avatar and not run ourselves into the ocean, which I almost did. We walked through people, but gosh, it was just so fun to see all these names, and people would stop and high five us and shake hands and dance with us. And so it was just really great to be out there. I think we've been missing that a lot this past year. And so I think it's important for us to look at, where are people participating? Where is our leadership participating? And what can we learn? So anyway, that's what we're coming off of. So we just thought we should stop and maybe talk about that with you guys for a little while.
well, and Tamera, for a long time, it's been a missing inside firms that it feels like the few attend external conferences. We do a lot of internal stuff, and maybe we have some external providers provide technical CPE sometimes, but I feel like we don't do enough broadening the experience of the leadership team and the operational leaders, and then the next gen up and comers too, on external content, external thought leaders, and what is the latest. And so I'm going to put the platform aside for a moment and just say, being remote like this gives us a golden opportunity to extend how many people can go, because we don't have travel. If we're going to attend remotely, we don't have the cost of the hotel and the airfare and those things that make it prohibitive and make us selective and make it sort of a few that get these ideas. Because there's, whenever we teach visioning, we always say, get outside of your firm and outside of your day-to-day and away from your email, and get out where ideas can permeate your brain, where not just thoughts for change or new ideas, but also, honest thoughts about, gosh, this isn't working, or maybe we should stop doing this, or maybe I need to make a personal change in something. Those thoughts can't permeate our day-to-day. They can't permeate video calls and phone calls and deliverables that we have and emails. So when we go to a conference, whether it's virtually, remotely, or if it's in person, it's a wonderful opportunity to sort of take what I'm going to call almost like a steel blocking helmet off that blocks new ideas, and put on the I'm receptive and open to new ideas helmet. And so as many people in your firm as you could get to do that, you should. So that's my number one is, gosh, what a great opportunity. And Tamera, Renee, Jen, and Emily, who attended today, would not normally all go. Just because we'd be in other cities with other engagements or things like that. But because of the way it worked, we could do a few sessions here and a few sessions there. And all four of us got to experience it today, which is wonderful. And then we get exposed not just to the ideas and the speakers, and we got to speak also, but we get to network, as Tamera said, with people from the BDO Alliance. And Renee, who has never been to a in-person BDO Alliance conference, gets exposed. She finally gets to see her people that we have, trained and spent time with in other programs, that she just doesn't get to go to the conference, and we get to see. Tamera and I are kind of the anchors of that conference. And so we get to have all the spoiled rotten experiences. And it's been nice to extend that in our own firm.
Yes. I think that's so great. And I think in one of the sessions that you were facilitating, Jen, one of the participants asked, how do I get people to think more strategically in my firm? And this is one of the number one ways to be able to do that. You can, do shadowing and have them participate in sales meetings and prospect meetings and client meetings and even executive committee meetings or portions of it. But coming to the conference, like you said, and being able to hear what others are talking about in the profession. There's often, general market, speakers and inspiring speakers, motivational speakers. That there's just a way, like you said, to lift that off your head, but that will help them think strategically and beyond their firm and beyond their clients and beyond, what they're currently doing. And we've always said going to a conference is like you get spread with pixie dust. And then we have to come back and say, okay, what did you learn? What was your biggest takeaway? How do we prioritize? How can we action those? And let's make a list, and see what maybe there's a couple themes that bubble to the top or ideas. Some are going to be quick hits, some are going to be longer term, but we could prioritize those too. And that will make a difference in your firm. The investment of time, if there's a cost to it, the conference, it will, start to provide an ROI for that. But the biggest thing is that ability to step away, start to think big picture, and how do we fit in here? What else could we be doing? And what could we learn from each other? It's huge.
It is. And you know what, Tamera, something that, is directly related to this, you and I go in and do in our team, we go in and we assess practices. When we're helping firms build a vision plan or when we're helping them build a strategic plan, we'll assess their practice. And part of that process is us conducting a survey, but also we do these telephone or video interviews. Yeah. And we'll get to talk to sometimes every single partner in the firm if it's 18 partners or something. And one of the things that we can totally distinguish is the partners who are kind of homebound and parochial and tunnel vision-y because they don't get out to conferences, and those that do. The worldview, the perspective is so different.
Yes.
And we're always disappointed in firms that seem to have a lot more partners that haven't gotten out there than those that have. Because the firm can't progress very quickly or as quickly. It can't change as quickly. There's a saying, you can't be a prophet in your own land. It's a biblical saying. And, so I can go to a conference and come back with my pixie dust and say, hey, everybody, this is what I heard. We need to do it. But I can't be a prophet in my own land. So everybody's like, yeah, all right, whatever. And they try not to do that. A few people come along with me, but for the most part, I have a bunch of people on the right side of the change curve, my late adopters and laggards who completely, wave their hand like this and just hope the conference pixie dust falls off fast enough that they won't have to change. So if they go themselves, though, and they get covered in sparkle dust, what would happen? What would happen? And maybe they won't be as enthusiastic, but they might sort of be like, oh, gosh, I guess this is real. I guess we do have to do it to be competitive, or I guess we will have to do it because our clients need it. And they won't have to just hear your voice. And HR often goes off onto the mountain of, SHRM conferences or CPA, FMA, or whatever you might be doing. And a lot of the managing partners that we meet with go off to their various managing partner roundtables and AICPA meetings and that sort of thing. And they all come back trying to get these other people to change. And I think it's much easier if you push them out to these external learning opportunities themselves. They have eyewitness views, and then they are better and more transformable, I think.
Well, and you can compare notes. I think it's a great place, even if you're going to different conferences, that we can come back and compare notes and say, what are you hearing? Well, here's what I'm hearing. What does that look like? And I think it's a good thing to underscore, Jen, what you just said. We need to make sure that our operations folks have this opportunity to go to events like this too. Sometimes it's like a nice to have, or I'm on an every other year or every 3 year schedule, because sorry.
Ow! I'm sorry. I hate that. I do.
Well,
change would take an every 3 year cycle, but it's changing every 3 minutes.
Right. So let's not wait. And again, since we have this opportunity for virtual, gosh, we should just be saying what is available. What should they be participating in? And the nice thing is, like you said, we did some sessions. I did some other phone calls. It was a crazy day. It's a crazy way to do a conference, but I'm kind of doing that if I was in Vegas anyway. But we got to just continue and be available, be responsive to our team, and still facilitate sessions, participate in the networking events, go to a general session ourselves. I mean, it was just, gosh, such a great way to start a day, the week, and be able to do that. And this is a longer one. This is going through Thursday. So we are kind of picking and choosing, and we're splitting it up too, because there's 4 of us. We're splitting it up and say, how are we going to cover this thing? So that's the other reason to have multiple attendees. But have operations people look and say, where can they participate? How can they, be involved and start to hear some of these things, and then come back and share notes and, come back with some ideas.
Yeah. Out of every session that we teach, we always say, pick one thing, right?
Right.
So if you attend a 2-day conference and you go to 3 of the 5 sessions offered each day or something, because in a remote environment, that's probably what it turns out to be. So that's 6 ideas. And if 4 of you go, you might have, 20 ideas, because there's going to be 4 overlapping or something. But then you could get together and say, let's pick our top 3. These are going to be the top 3 out of that investment we just made. And let's focus on those. We're not going to do all 20, that's for sure. But we're smarter because of it, though. Our worldview is better. So the other thing is that in this remote environment, it is introducing you, if you go to different kinds of conferences, to different platforms and tools and different ways of networking remotely and via video, and different ways of consuming content. And we think that's really important too. And I don't care how old you are. I know some, maybe closer to retirement and thinking, oh, brother, I don't want to learn that stuff. But you should know it, unless there's a saying, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the person who said it, but you should learn something new every day until the day you die. I love that quote, and I'm hating myself that I can't remember who said it, but I'll find out and later be like, duh. But that idea, of really learning something every day, including learning how to navigate a platform. And Tamera and I had the opportunity to learn this platform in the beginning of the year, because I went to a conference in January, and I was a presenter, and we also had some booth time that we had to do. And so I went out to Virbela, Virbela, and we're not picking this platform over another. It just happens to be the one that we've used most recently, and BDO has standardized on it for their networking. And you have an avatar, and you figure out how to dress them, and you have to show up at a certain place and walk up to a group and shake hands or wave, and you can clap and you can cheer and you can samba dance and you can climb and all kinds of stuff. That's funny. I think we had as much fun on that platform today as we've had in a while, laughing together as a group, but also with other people that are our friends. We couldn't be with them in person. Dang it, we're all locked up in our house like Rapunzel in the tower or something, waiting for the opportunity to get back out there. But we could see them anyway. They walked into our booth with an avatar and waved, and it was so awesome. Here's a picture of the squad. Tamera's on the left in pink, and I'm wearing sunglasses. I got rid of my jacket and put short pants and flip-flops on. Tamera was all mad because she said I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have gone from speaking to beachwear in real life in Vegas. So she was mad that I changed out of my professional outfit into the beachwear. But I'm the second guy from or gal from the left, and then Emily, and then Renee. And we just had a fun time. We went to the beach where they had a speaker, a comedian, and he made us laugh too, and gave some awards, and it was a blast. And then we went back to our trade show booth. And we're not really trade show workers in real life. At Convergence, we don't love that in the physical dimension. But we had fun today in that booth because people came and we taught them all these dance moves that we had learned, how to do the samba and the robot dance and the salsa and I don't know what else, but it was super fun. And you may say, wow, you guys have all the time in the world. We don't have any time for that. But we knew we were going to see our friends and colleagues and people in the profession who need our help and people who might help us. So we went. And we also knew we were investing in learning a new platform, one we'll use again. I promise that platform will get used again by somebody else. And we're going to be a little more expert because we took 45 minutes or whatever and went out there and spent some time on it together. So I encourage that learning on your behalf, not just the conference learning, the platform learning.
Right. The technology. It will have you be cool. I mean, I don't know what a better word to come up with, but like I'm sitting there listening to you, Jen, and it's like, okay, your next gen is going to go, wow, look at her learn that. My son, he's 14, and he was like, what is that? Why do you have an avatar? And no, you need a different screen resolution. He's all coaching me on it, right? But your next gen team members and your next gen clients will appreciate that you're embracing this technology. Many of them, Gen Z that's coming into our profession now, they've grown up with this. They expect this to be part of our learning. They expect this to be part of our communication. They don't want us to be snubbing it. So that's one thing to be careful that we're not snubbing it. Be cool. Go learn it. Go dance. Go fall off the stage. Go drown yourself in the lake. The water was way too close.
While Tamera and I were standing on the beach talking, a guy came out of the ocean in a suit with a tie on, wet. It showed him dripping as he walked out, and he obviously had accidentally run into the ocean and came back out. But we got a huge laugh together about it. And not that we weren't messing up right and left also, but it was, it was fun learning. It wasn't just all grueling learning. Tamera, the other thing that you just said, a lot of us are not gamers, so we might be like, ooh, I don't game, so I can't do it. Yes, you can. The other weird thing is, in 2007, I went out and learned this crazy app called LinkedIn. And I came back and taught it to my team. And then I started teaching it to managing partners. And you would have thought I was teaching them how to do brain surgery or something, the way that they came to it and worried about it. Think about your use of LinkedIn today. It's pretty normal. Then we started using all these online platforms. We had been doing webinars on WebEx, GoToMeeting and all that business since 2002. But when we started using Zoom, I would invite clients to a Zoom coaching call back in, 2012 or something, or 2014. And they'd be like, oh, I don't know, and I'd be like, well, just click the link. It's not going to be that hard. Click the link. You can do it. Now we all use Zoom like crazy, right? I mean, it's just, there's nothing about it that's hard or special. Same with these conference platforms. Same with these technologies we're talking about. You could make it a barrier like, oh, gee, that's going to take a ton of time. No, it isn't. It's going to take 15 minutes or 20 or something. You won't be an expert, but you're going to be capable. And that's what you need to be. So please don't resist this. Like you resisted those other things that turned out to be so simple and goofy that you resisted.
And essential. I mean, we use them like crazy now. Yeah. And I can see, like we're talking about Virbela, and I know there's a lot out there, but it's a big conference. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of functionality, and I'm sure it is not cheap. I think it's also going to scale. So I think we're going to learn it in this platform, and then it's going to start to be personal, just like every other technology that we've embraced. So how do we make it personal in our interactions with our team? How do we talk about gamification of learning programs, or we talk about how do we collaborate with our clients, or have events with the clients or others. I think that these tools and these technologies are going to scale so that we can use them in our firm, we can use them personally, we can use them in groups. So that's the other thing to think about. This is what it is today. Brilliant, by the way. It's super brilliant technology. But if we go along with it, when it's ready for prime time for how we could use it personally, you'll be like, I know this thing. I got this. We can do this.
Yeah. You can sit next to Tamera, and I can sit next to each other in a conference hall and whisper to each other, which we would do in real life. No one can hear us. And
laugh.
Although, you could screw up and also do a platform-wide announcement. So don't do that. You don't want to do that of your whisper, by the way. That would be bad. But, there's a bunch of different uses for this. And I was out reading about some hacks so I could show up with dance moves that people might not know. And other things, like ways to show encouragement, thumbs up and stuff like that. And I was reading about it online and read all about the use of Virbela in the holiday event arena this last year. and how a lot of firms, hosted holiday events using it so that they could, feel like they were walking up next to each other and talking and having a dance party and that sort of thing. So, I know that all sounds random and maybe crazy to you, but as you navigate the blended work environment that we've been talking to you about for a while now, where you have remote people and in-person people, we think you're going to be using more of these, virtual avatar-based platforms, whatever they may be. Yeah. And going out and starting to play with that would be a smart idea. Yep. Especially if your conference vendor gives you a login and instructions, don't bypass it.
And you're not alone. Now's the time to jump in while everybody's learning it together. It's safe. It's okay if you fall in the water. It's okay if you dance and play music when you're not supposed to. So it's a perfect time to get out there and learn about it. Let your people go learn about it. It's conference season. It's learning season. We just thought it was really important that we stop to say, what are you contemplating? And make sure this is on your radar. Talk to, your managers and your partners to say, what kind of conferences have you been typically coming to? How are they presenting this year? And let's make a schedule and let's let people, go and make it available. So anyway, we just wanted to make sure that you're planning for that and talking about it, amongst yourselves and looking at what does your summer look like. So I think we're at time. So I'm going to say goodbye and we will see you next Monday. And so great to be with you. Happy May. Have a great week. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.